New reporting from the New York Times suggests Governor DeSantis is going to take a similar tact and not lash out at Donald Trump, at least not yet. Even as the former president steps up his attacks. Why are these important? Because they actually were really difficult for fellow candidates.
Jeb, you look at what happened with Jeb, low energy Jeb, Lion Ted. I mean, it actually.
But will it have the same effect this time? Is a question we should ask. Now, the Times notes.
Those guys.
Quote, DeSantis has pursued a strategy of conflict avoidance, delaying what is likely to be a hostile and divisive clash that forces the party's voters to pick sides. According to the Times, Trump has spent weeks trying to goad DeSantis into a fight, describing him in conversations as Meatball Ron, an apparent dig at his appearance.
Again, no mirrors at Mar-a-Lago.
Or Shutdown Ron, a reference to restrictions the governor put in place at the beginning of the COVID pandemic.
And again, obviously he can't read, because if he could read his own press releases from the White House, he told governors they needed to shut down.
When asked about Trump's attacks, DeSantis has mainly countered by reminding voters of Trump's election losses. And
that's the thing
your advice would be that is exactly what he should do.
Well, I mean, that is what he should do. And I think, actually, I think DeSantis, of course, he looked terrible in that debate with Charlie.
Well, there was a little sort of, you need to know that the moderator was the only one who was supposed to be asking questions, so he might have been sticking to the rules. I'm just not that. Hey, listen, his airport is disgusting. So thanks, Ron DeSantis.
Let's not talk about.
But
Miami.
I'm not going to. I'm just going to be
not his
not
airport.
defending him. But
yeah. No, okay. Well, anyway, you don't look that way in debates. But anyway, so I will say I'm going to go to Rev in a second. But first, Jonathan Lemire, I will say, I mean, we were talking about how Trump had lost his fastball. I mean, his first nickname was something like Ron Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Tough on a bumper sticker.
He tried to put that on bumper stickers. Very hard to do. Then it was Ron DeSanctimonious. Tighten it up a little bit. But then he goes to Meatball Ron, and like that tweet that you sent me yesterday, it's like a reliever who had lost his stuff suddenly remembering how to throw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball high.
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is all childish and immature and ridiculous. Let's put that
Of course it is.
Put there to start. But in the category of childish, immature, ridiculous things, good nickname. I mean, this one has a chance to stick. Although you're right, certainly it's not very self-aware of the former president, considering his own appearance. And the COVID thing is an interesting choice as well. To hit DeSantis for being easy on COVID, when DeSantis, outside of the first couple of weeks, has made a point of going to the right of Trump on pandemic response. So, Rev, I'm not sure that necessarily is going to play either. But really what this is about is it's the opening act, right? And DeSantis, to this point, has chosen not to respond. He's trying to be above the fray. But I think people who know both men suggest that even DeSantis supporters know that he's untested on the national stage. He'll have to get better at debate moments like that. And Trump, for all of his flaws, and it would take us weeks to go through them, he is good at attacking political opponents. That's an undeniable skill that he has. How do you see this playing out in these early stages of this fight?
Well, what is interesting to me is how he froze in the debate more than how he responds to Trump. You know, I ran in 2004 in several of the primaries for president. When you get on the big stage, it's different. And I don't know DeSantis has shown he can rise to the big stage. I mean, because I don't care how much press you get before that, it's different up there. They analyze everything. And when you can't answer a question that you should have known was coming in the Charlie Crist segment we just showed, where you should have been prepared for that. I'm wondering, how do you handle presidential politics? So whether you can act like a wrestling match guy with Trump exchanging names and all, that's one thing. But when you get up there and they start coming at you hard, and these are not your friendly guys at the Miami Herald, you are going to be tested. And I don't know that DeSantis has showed us that he has the mettle to really perform at that level.
Well, and, you know, and Rev brings up such a great point. He's the only one of us that's been there. And everybody that has been there said, we can talk about it all we want to, but when you're on the big stage, it's like nothing you've ever been through before.
And some people take off in a way that is least expected.
At least expected. And I've got to say, Trump filled up the big stage.
Yeah.
That's why Trump won the Republican nomination, because he knew how to fill up the big stage. We've seen a lot of candidates that get up there and don't know how to fill up the big stage. And so it is. What is it, Rev? What did you say about what was the James Brown quote about playing the clubs and arenas?
Yeah, James Brown, the first time I went with him to Las Vegas, I was still like 20 years old, and he showed me the lounge. He says, "You see that lady singing?" I said, "Yes." He says, "We're going in the big room where I'm doing the show." There's a difference between a lounge act and playing on the big stage in the showroom, because the audience in the lounge, they're smoking and they're drinking and you're doing whatever you got to do to get their attention. On the big stage, you got to perform. Those people paid $100 or more a head. And I don't know, DeSantis has showed us he's prepared for the big stage. As grotesque as Donald Trump was, he knew how to play that big stage. I don't know if DeSantis has shown us he belongs on that stage.
Well, and that's what makes a difference. And again, we're talking in the abstract here. But when you have, and it is the big stage, and it's a lot like boxing. You know, Mike Tyson, everybody has a plan until you punch him in the mouth. Think about Donald Trump, Jeb Bush. Everybody said Jeb Bush was going to win. Everybody said Jeb Bush was going to win. All the smart money was on Jeb Bush. They get on the debate stage. Donald Trump calls him low-energy Jeb. He just keeps going after him. Pew, that's the end of it. Marco Rubio, cover of Time magazine, the future of the Republican Party. That's what Time magazine thought. That's what a lot of people said. You get Donald Trump. He makes fun of Marco Rubio for sweating. He calls him Little Marco. It is a nickname that has stuck, and people still in Washington refer to him, I mean, not in front of the center, but still refer to him as Little Marco. You could say the same thing for Ted Cruz, say the same thing for all of these people. And you know, the response, Richard Haass, doesn't have to be an insult going back. I mean, you could just say, listen to this. You're so cute. You're so cute with your nicknames. That is so. Listen, why don't you just go back and try that on a group of people that are too stupid to respond? Because I can respond, Donald. You know what else I can do? I can win. You can't. 2017, loser. 2018, loser. 2019, loser. 2020, loser. 2021, loser. 2022, loser. And 2024, loser, Donald. So you figure out your cute nicknames. I'll figure out how to win finally for the Republican Party, and we'll both have a better 2024. I mean, he doesn't have to do that. But just if he comes with something strong, mocks him, pushes him to the side, great. But no Republican, Richard, and this is what I just can't understand. Nobody's figured out how to do that, and it's just not that hard.
Look, you can't beat something with nothing. So I understand the tactics of not wanting to get down in the mud. That's what Trump's really good at. It's not clear DeSantis would emerge from that, shall we say, victorious. Then so he can continue to push his cultural agenda. He can continue to, he can go after Biden. The Biden administration clearly has all sorts of vulnerabilities. I guess, Joe, look, you've been in this game. I haven't. It's tactical, and you see what works. But my instincts would be DeSantis is probably right not to get into a slinging match with Trump. He's gotten where he is by not doing that. And again, I think he's got things he could attack the Biden administration for. And more broadly, the Republicans could use an agenda. It would be nice if one of the Republican candidates came through with a serious agenda for what they would do for this country. I haven't heard it yet.
A serious agenda. And Mika, it's you never fight anybody on their ground. Mm-mm. You never give them the high ground. You never, ever let them maintain their balance. And you look at the 16 people that ran against Trump in 2016, they all let him define the debate. And it's like, oh, he's such a disruptor. Look at all the horrible, he's insulting people. Now, you pull back and you figure out before you go on that debate stage, how do I disrupt his attempts to disrupt? How do I make him fight on my terms?
Yeah.
And if you have half a brain, you can figure out how to do that. Every Republican in 2016 was reactive. They were reacting to his shock opera. Let's see if DeSantis can figure out a better way to do it.
And after